Hello, this is Rapid Regeneration. I'm David Escamilla. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not making any medical claims or claims about diseases. I'm just a civilian. I'm just a guy. I have found out some of the most amazing information. I did solve my own health problems after suffering horribly, and my goal is to help you to do the same thing for yourself. Empower yourself with the right information, the right tools, the right strategies. And so basically we're wrapping up in some of this understanding about the different foods. And basically, as you figure out how am I going to transition, how am I going to eat healthier, and how am I going to eat more foods that are going to help me to get where I want to go health-wise, energy-wise, youthfulness-wise. So you're gonna be faced with this question. You're gonna wake up and you're gonna be like, what am I gonna eat? What should I eat? It's gonna be lunchtime. You're gonna be hungry. You're gonna be like, what should I eat? Or dinner time, or snack time. And you need to know the answer to this question. I can't just tell you what to think and here's what you should eat every day, and at 12 o'clock you should eat this, and at 3 o'clock you should eat a bowl of cherries, and at 5 o'clock you should eat this. You should eat a salad, and you should eat cooked vegetables at 5:30, and you need to understand how to approach this for yourself, because you're going to figure this out for yourself, and you're going to intuitively know what you should eat, but you have to know the information. You have to understand the knowledge and the nuances of this and how this works. Once you know that, you're going to have the divine intelligence to figure it out. But don't just run blind into the forest. Know what these things are. That's why it's so important that you're increasing your awareness and you're learning these different elements about the foods. And I know it's been tedious. It's been, I hope not like a classroom too much and boring, but I have to share this information. I can't not, because you're going to use this information to figure it out for yourself and to be independent and to really do this. So yes, nuts and seeds. Yes, they're a most amazing addition to the world of raw foods, living, electrical, raw foods. And yeah, as you transition and as you figure out, you know what, I want to electrically stimulate the body. I want to give the body the power of nature. I want to eat more raw foods. I believe you'll be leaning heavily onto this category. It's savory, protein-rich, fatty, can be salty and sumptuous and filling. And so, yeah, I mean, that's where nuts and seeds can really fit in. Now, before understanding that, just keep in mind, yes, nuts and seeds, they're high in protein and fat. They are complex for the body to be digested. They do give a lot of extra work to the stomach, the liver, the pancreas, the intestines, and the kidneys, because they create a lot of acidic byproducts throughout the digestion that have to be eliminated by the kidneys and lymphatic system. And so, yes, as compared with just eating fruits or eating a salad, vegetables, the nuts are going to be more acid forming. So in that sense, they're not a true cleansing, hydrating, detoxing food. And so, whereas rapid regeneration is about, okay, you want to create an alkaline environment in the body, and one that is very hydrating and cleansing. And you do want to detox. So, but the thing is that you don't you don't get there in a straight line. Sometimes you have to zig and you have to zag. And sometimes you have to take one step back, and then you take 3 steps forwards, and then you take another step back. And so that's the nature of balance, of transitioning, of detox, and of cleaning yourself out. And so that's where the nuts and seeds come in. Yes, they are, acid forming to some degree. They're not going to be cleansing and hydrating to the body, but they have their role to play. If you're transitioning, if you're trying to eat more healthily, and you're trying to have a more healthy lifestyle, I know it's tough. I was there myself. It took me a long time, and it was difficult. And if you've been eating the modern diet, you've been eating a lot of fat and a lot of protein. So you're going to crave a high protein or high fat food. And so what should you eat? Should you eat, a ribeye steak, a chicken thigh, a pork chop, sushimi, an omelet, a big hunk of butter, a glass of milk, a wedge of cheese? I mean, these are your options for if you want to satisfy this craving for protein or fat. Or you could eat some nuts and seeds. You could drink milk, nut or seed milk, or you could spread some nut or seed butter on these. Now you could also eat like your fruits, like you could eat some avocado or olives or olive oil or like coconut. And that's another thing you could do, and we talked about that in the role of fats. And these foods are generally going to be much less acid forming than your nuts and seeds. Just keeping that in mind. So that's something else you could do. But yeah, you can eat your nuts and seeds. And so just a couple of things. So you should eat them. I mean, and they're your friend. They're for you to lean on when you need that and when you're having that craving. And that's really their role. And so now they can also provide a lot of amazing benefits as well. They can help all the amazing amino acids that are broken down from the proteins. They're a more simple protein for the body to consume than like a cooked food, or even meat is a more complex stack of amino acids in the protein from meat. And so, yeah, if you're building strength, if you're looking for structural support and all this type of things, yes, nuts and seeds have some amazing benefits, and so they're great. But you'll find that, yeah, if you just eat nuts and seeds 3 meals a day, you could have some problems, because that's not really what rapid regeneration is about. It's about using the power of alkaline forming foods, especially like your fruits, and that's going to be your best friend to get yourself detoxed. But you're going to eat nuts and seeds throughout that process. That's fine. Couple things to consider is, portion size is a big deal, and you could get a lot more acidic blowback by eating a giant bag of nuts than just eating, a small bowl of nuts. So just be aware of that, and your stomach has to create all this acid, to digest that, and then your liver and your whole digestive system, it's gotta deal with that. So it's ready to do it, but just keep in mind, don't give it just a task that's so overwhelming to do, or it's going to be that much more of an acid blowback, and you may even feel it the next day if you overdo it. Also, you have different nuts and seeds that behave very differently. Some nuts are more protein heavy. Some nuts are more fatty. And so you also have a question of the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. Now, this is an amazing secret piece of knowledge. It's a key to unlock amazing health that I'm going to cover, I believe, on the following segment after this. And so very important to understand the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. And different nuts and seeds have different ratios. And so, yes, if you can eat more of those that are hot, that have a closer to 1-to-1 ratio, then that's gonna help you out, because a lot of these nuts are very, very high in seeds and omega-6, but lack the omega-3s. So you can compare which ones. I'm going to go over those in detail on the next segment. What you might find is that you have some like hemp seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, even like walnuts. You have some that have a very favorable ratio. And by the way, these have been a game changer for me. When I started adding in hemp, chia, and flax seeds, in a modest dosage, not overdoing it, but I felt an amazing boost of energy, and my cravings were so much better. So yes, nuts and seeds, have a big role. I typically will like to, I'll get two, what are the portion sizes? I'll typically maybe get about 6 ounces, is that right? 6 ounces of ground up chia seeds and hemp seeds together. Might be 8 ounces, but and then throw those into a smoothie, like a banana smoothie, with whatever you want to put in there, and that is incredible. Now I'll also do the green powder. Might do some bananas and maybe some blueberry, maybe some dates. But yeah, I mean, that's amazing. It actually takes the edge off of my hunger. It's kind of grounding. It helps me focus, helps me concentrate, keeps me full for a long time, and it takes the edge off of my hunger. If I eat that, then I basically don't crave protein or fat for the rest of the day. Now I've gotten to this point, after a long time. So I'm not saying, that's going to happen for you overnight, but understand the power, especially of the hemp seeds, the chia seeds, and the flax seeds, and use those to help you, give you amazing energy to perform throughout your day without then having this insane craving later where you're like, oh my God, I got to eat something crazy, and then you go back into a cheat meal. These whereas if you just try to make a smoothie without any protein in it, then maybe you end up cheating later on because you get ratted out, but by adding this in there, it keeps you full for the whole rest of the day, and now you don't have that craving later, and you eat something healthy later. And so yes, you want to use nuts and seeds to kind of balance you out. Yes. Now keep in mind, you can overdo it, but when I was first transitioning, man, I mean, I was going off eating a lot of meat, a lot of protein, and a lot of processed foods, and so yeah, I would eat a lot of nuts and seeds, and I loved almond butter. And when I was first transitioning to a more healthy consumption of foods, I was eating every week. I would go through like 4 to 6 12-ounce jars of almond butter. I was eating almost one entire jar of almond butter per day, and that was in addition to a lot of avocado and olives, and I was eating that much. Now I actually had an intuition that at one point that it was kind of making me sick, and I finally stopped eating it, and I felt a lot better. But for like almost 2 years, I was eating that much almond butter, and so yeah, It can be, that's another role, is that basically it can be a comfort food. You can make nuts and seeds into amazing sauces, butters, raw hummuses, patties, even some breads, spreads, wraps, cakes, crackers, many other creations. There's some of the most amazing desserts. How about like cheesecake? How about, things that are made from nuts and seeds and other plants? I mean, you have, I'm not the most chefy. I mean, I don't, I can't create like that, or I don't spend a lot of time on that, but I've seen these, I've eaten these, and they're incredible. So you can have a lot of fun with nuts and seeds. That's definitely a role. And so now there are some individuals, just understand that some people can plateau eating too much nuts and seeds, and or high fat fruits. And so I've seen this happen with people, and they get into eating healthier and eating more raw foods, and they're making progress, and then they kind of plateau, and they find themselves unable to really make further progress towards their health goals. I've seen it working with people. I've seen it. And so just know that can happen. Now, some people can enjoy a kind of a higher fat, higher protein consumption of food and seem to do fine, and they're already where they want to be health-wise, and that just works for them. But other people, if you're trying to detox, if you're trying to solve a health problem and you're not there yet, then yes, I mean, don't get stuck and plateau with eating too much nuts and seeds, protein and fat, because it can get you stuck. It can block you. And so just understand, you want to put your digestive system in a parasympathetic state, your whole body system, and you want to be eating as much alkaline food as possible. So for me personally, I like to go minimally with the nuts and seeds, although over the years they've really played their role for me and really helped me out. Also, sometimes you're on the run, you don't have time to prepare food, you're traveling or whatever. It could be just a great go-to food for that. And so, and I think from a natural sense, they're kind of an amazing food. I mean, if we go back to prehistoric times, if we're in nature and we're running around and we see all these nuts or seeds, it would be like, yeah, let's eat as much as we can. I mean, let's consume them. They're so nutrient dense. They have excessive amounts of, calories, and maybe we can store these for the wintertime, So yeah, I think they have an amazing role. And just know, the fruits are the most powerful, and, alkaline forming foods, in your vegetables, and, but nuts and seeds definitely play a role. They're going to help the transition. They're going to help as comfort foods, indulgence foods, satisfy your craving for protein and fat. Although it'd probably be better to eat a food like your high fat fruits are less acid forming. And just keep in mind, yes, absolutely eat the nuts and seeds, but you can plateau, and they can actually hold you back at some point. So keep all of that in mind now that you're really rounding out your knowledge of foods and these different foods that can help you. So just a few segments left about foods, and after that you really should have a full spectrum understanding of the world of foods, and you should be really making significant progress on your way to solving your health problems. I'm going to help you do it. I just need you to remain committed, to keep it going, and to keep learning this information, empowering yourself, taking responsibility, taking action. This is brought to you by rapidregeneration.com. That's all for now. See you on the next segment.
For more information, please follow at Rapid Regeneration or visit rapidregeneration.com.